I get here? Huh?
Welcome everybody to the show. For those of you who are not familiar, this is How Did I Get Here? It's where we live our best lives on the internet and come out the other side knowing more, but not really knowing all that much more. Now, does that make us feel smarter? Probably no. And for those of you who have never tuned in with us before, this is a common theme. We have no idea what's going on, yet we do. Does that not describe our lives every day in this current situation? We have no idea what is going on in our surroundings, yet we have every idea and all the details of what is going on, but we have no understanding of it. Welcome to How Did I Get Here? And I'm Jay, your host. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave a review. Also, check out youtube.com/divepods for full episodes. Now, we're going to jump straight into the meat of today. And the topic of the day is, why do we like being scared? Interesting. Now that I'm a Twitch streamer, I stream Phasmophobia. And Phasmophobia is a game where you hunt ghosts and spirits. Do I enjoy this game? Yes, I very much do.
Oh, you like scary games? Because
I
know,
don't. I hate scary games. I hate ghosts.
What's the truth? Because you believe in ghosts, I actually believe in ghosts. Yeah, you believe in spirits and stuff like that. So I would think you'd be like,
I was, until I realized that you could just troll everyone else in your lobby and have a great time. And I'm not even scared because most of the time I'm not busy doing ghost work. I'm busy just scaring other people. And it's my friends who have not been into PC gaming, have never played a scary game. It is the best scary game to have your introduction to the horror genre. I haven't played any other horror games, but it's making me want to play them. Most definitely. We're going to start with the starting points. And here is why you actually love being scared. This is from The Insider. Many people love horror films despite the fact that they bring our heart rates up and even make us scream. Part of the reason people like being scared by movies is because our brains know we're safe. The body also releases dopamine when we're scared, creating a state of arousal similar to when we're excited. People who enjoy challenges and thrills are more likely to enjoy getting scared. Interesting. People love going to the movies to be scared. The $733 million made in a horror movie ticket sales in 2017 proves it. But did you ever wonder why people like to put themselves through intense fear? The Insider spoke with a psychologist to find out what it is that so draws people to scary movies.
Before we go on, do you yourself enjoy horror movies, scary movies? Do you like being scared?
I hate being scared. I never watch horror movies, and I don't think I ever will enjoy horror movies. But I do enjoy horror movies at the same time because I feel like their plots are so perplexing. And horror movies have the best plots, usually for me.
In what way?
I'm just sick of sci-fi movies always ending the way that I predict them to.
Yeah.
But horror movies never end the way that you think they will.
Oh, really?
For me.
Oh, horror movies usually have the most formula.
Interesting.
So, fun fact, most directors, they could get their start by doing horror specifically. The horror genre for short films and people who are trying to make a name in the film industry, they do horror first, actually. And then they go into other things. It's very common that way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what we learned from this discussion just now is that horror films are the 365 of songwriting.
I don't know what
365 is like a very, very money chord progression that a lot of songwriters use.
Oh, chord progression. I was like, are you talking about 365, the Whole Foods market that's in Silver Lake, California?
Wait, what?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is that a thing?
Whole Foods has its own brand. You know, like how for E-Mart has the no name brand, like no brand. So Whole Foods has their own, and it's called 365. And they have a 365 market grocery store in LA. Anyway, fun little fact.
Okay, so
about
horror
my old
films
neighborhood
in the film genre are money chords in music. Cool.
There you go.
I get it. The first reason is that your brain knows that you're safe. But does it? That only applies if you don't believe in ghosts. Like horror films about murders and like vigilantes and dramatic things don't affect me. Those movies don't scare me at all. Only ghost and exorcism and demon possession and like things like that affect me because I'm scared of those. When something scary enters our awareness, whether real or made up, fear induces the fight or flight response, according to Dr. John Mayer, practicing clinical psychologist who specializes in families, children, and young adults. At that point, your body determines if there is a real threat or not and acts appropriately to allow you to save yourself in the situation. If it calls for it. Dr. Mir told Insider, if there is no threat, the physiological and psychological mechanisms calm and there is no more reaction. So a bit of a thrill, but no real risk. Fight or flight still kicks in, but to your benefit. That actually makes a lot of sense because you scare yourself into having that pump
adrenaline
of
rush.
Yeah. But you know that you're in no fear. Oh, it's kind of smart actually. Or you could just, I don't know, join Fight Club.
Oh.
Or you could join Fight Club, yeah.
We don't talk about it.
Do we not?
No.
Why?
First rule.
Why?
First rule of Fight Club.
Oh.
Come on.
It's been so long.
That's how I
since
know
the
you're
movie.
not in Fight Club.
If your body senses that you're not threatened, you will still experience fear, but instead of releasing hormones that make you stronger and faster for defensive mode, your body releases hormones that essentially make you feel good under the right circumstances. Interesting. That's why a lot of people like go on scary movie dates. And then like, you know like how there was that whole stigma about holding hands like during a scary movie?
Mm-hmm.
Or was that just an excuse for people to hold hands?
It's not hold hands, but it might be an excuse to like, oh, I'm scared. Like lean in.
Oh, it was an excuse?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was something hormonal, but I guess it was just an excuse.
Well, I mean, driven by hormones.
Driven by hormones.
As an excuse, as a way to like get physically closer.
Anyway, we're going to move on to the next article. Next one is, why do we like to be scared? USC experts explain the science of fright. A point is a flood of fear paired with the relief of safety can release naturally occurring opioids like endorphins that signal pleasure along with the hit of dopamine. Endorphins with the hit of dopamine. I like the sound of that.
You're like, damn, what horror movie am I watching tonight?
I'm going today. The monster are us in a sense, Thompson said. They are that very dangerous part of us, and it's good to recognize and be afraid of those evil parts of yourself. Interesting. So a lot of people watch these horror movies and are able to overcome the monsters within themselves by portraying the monsters in the films as themselves. And maybe through the defeat of that monster, they feel like they've come out of these movie theaters. Movie theaters?
I was going to let it slide.
Movie theaters. So they feel like through the triumph of the main character in the plot over these beasts or creatures or ghosts or whatever they were, that they themselves, with popcorn-stained faces, have come out the movie theater victorious over their own beasts and monsters. And that gives them a natural release of occurring opioids like endorphins that signal pleasure along with a hit of dopamine.
What was the scariest movie you've ever seen personally? Or like a movie that like haunted you a little bit, like whoa, freaked you out.
I don't remember. I haven't seen a scary movie in a long time.
Not even like ghost movies or anything.
I don't like them. Why put yourself through
How do you
pain?
know you don't like them if you have never seen one?
Okay.
So you must have
That's
seen.
a slippery slope.
So you must have seen
That
one.
is a slippery slope, my friend.
Witnessed one and been
Rhetoric 101.
like, "What? You're gonna bandwagon? You're gonna bandwagon?
How
Be
am I
like,
bandwagoning."
you haven't seen one. If you've seen one and then you were like, "This ain't for me," I totally get it.
I mean, I feel like I've seen a lot of horror movies when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I've learned that I don't enjoy them.
But so none of them stand out to you though?
I remember there was this one where there was like a phantom who was playing the piano at the end scene and a huge ghost came out.
You mean Phantom of the Opera?
No. Phantom of the Opera isn't
that's like
a horror movie.
Yeah, that's like a classic dark romance or whatever.
Yeah. I love romance. I love rom-com. Rom-com's my favorite. Have you seen Her?
Yeah.
Her was amazing.
Yeah, you would fall in love with a computer.
Yeah, I definitely would. If I could ever...
That's your brand.
If I could ever have an AI to be a companion, like...
You know, that's the thing. You can have that.
But like, not a robot. Like, I want like an AI who can respond to me.
They have that.
With like, well, not as of now. You know the level of
this is when you're
interaction that I
retired in
want.
Canada, like
Yeah.
living in a cabin somewhere.
I'm gonna live at home with Cynthia, my AI wife. Okay. All right. Scary stories can reflect a culture's hidden demons, and we like to think of ourselves as good society in America, and yet we are aware of these horrible things that happened. Thompson, associate professor of anthropology and communication at the USC Dornsif, said they are still haunting us in a metaphorical sense. Interesting. Scary stories can reflect a culture's hidden demons. Are they talking about direct association to cultures or cultural phenomenons, or are they talking about actual hidden demons that we symbolically place and metaphorically place into the movie by ourselves?
Maybe both. Maybe it's just like like things that you're really scared of, whether it's subconscious or consciously, but you're so scared you like have never directly expressed it yourself. So it's maybe cathartic to see it expressed on screen or something fictionalized.
If forcibly, how do I phrase this?
Makes you deal with it?
Yeah, it forcibly puts you face to face with these demons that you've been locking away.
Yeah.
But then through your subconscious, they've manifested in this movie in front of you. So you come out victorious once again.
So yeah, maybe it helps people like that
Mm.
who need to visualize those triumphs.
And it naturally releases opiates like endorphins that signal pleasure along with the hit of dopamine.
There you go.
I love that hit of dopamine. It's
So
interesting.
you're afraid of ghosts, but you know how there's like different types of ghosts?
I would not like to know. I have no interest in the topic.
I was just saying which kind of ghost you're the most scared of. If there's like any kind of ghost you're not scared of. Because apparently there's like prankster ghosts I've heard of
Yeah, so
that are harmless.
the next topic is 5 reasons we enjoy being scared. And I feel like it might be a little bit redundant, but let's go into it anyway. Check it out. 5 reasons that we like being scared, the safety net that we talked about, that we're actually not in physical danger, but we're scared out of our minds mentally. And that allows us to get that hit of dopamine. Number 2, the flood. When we get scared, we experience a rush of adrenaline, dopamine. Number 3, self-satisfaction. Thrill seekers. Some people like to push the envelope and seek thrills and see how much fear can be tolerated. So I guess it would be a really safe way to be a thrill seeker. In another format, you could do this by skydiving, bungee jumping, but obviously watching a horror movie is going to be a little bit more budget friendly for your wallet.
And physically safe.
Physically safe as well.
Yeah.
Closeness with others. A common piece of dating advice for young men years ago
Oh gosh.
was to take their date to a scary movie. The tip was based on the idea that when their date got frightened, they will curl in for protection, thus reinforcing a bond between the two.
Little do they know, 6 foot 10 billion Jae would be the one curling.
He doesn't curl, he screeches in fear.
He pushes her away, being like, "Are you a ghost?" And she falls. My. Okay. Well, you don't watch horror movies, so you can't necessarily personally relate to this.
I
But
can't.
do you have friends who love horror movies?
I don't, because all my
Really?
friends are rational.
Oh my god.
All my friends are rational. Why would you ever put yourself through that?
Yeah, I noticed. But then Korea is really known for their horror genre. Korea's
do have
like
good
very
horror movies.
famous for being really good
Yeah.
horror filmmakers.
I wouldn't, dude. Korea's horror movies are so scary. You know what's really unfortunate? It's really unfortunate that AleXa isn't here today because I feel like she would have a lot to say.
Oh, I think she seems like a horror fan. I hope you guys are all scared in a really safe environment. Okay, this Halloween.
Yeah, just like Diane said. With that being said, we hope that during this Halloween season, you guys are very scared in a safe environment with a safety net that gives you a hit of dopamine that your natural life is missing.
There you go.
We're going to move on to the first question of today is how do you like to be comforted when you're down? From the 5th proof, my honest answer is I don't like to be comforted. When I'm down, I like to just stay by myself and think about what happened and process exactly what happened and how I could do it better and how I could fix the problem. I'm a problem solver. I feel like I don't have enough time in my life to pity myself or to think about how things have worked out. I get angry at people for how things worked out, but I never take or waste time to think about, oh, boo-hoo, my life is so sad. It's never thought about in that perspective.
But does that actually comfort you? Feeling like you are able to solve those problems?
I don't know. Because then I'm always stuck in this sense of peril until the problem is solved. Like, you know how people will message you or like they'll text you when something happens. They'll be
Yeah.
like, I'm so sorry this happened. Or I can't believe this. I hope you're okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't comfort me in the least.
Yeah.
It just feels like words.
Yeah. Because they don't mean any. Do you think they don't mean it, or because words don't help you solve your problem?
I don't know. Maybe it's because words don't help me solve my problem. If someone gave me a solution on how to solve it,
That's comforting.
yeah.
So like, let's say like you have a problem and you need like a cord for something, right? Instead of someone being like, oh, dude, that sucks. But I think everything's going to be okay. Maybe next time you'll have it type of thing versus someone being like, oh, I have the cord. I can bring it to you.
Maybe that's why I'm not words of affirmation
Yeah.
and I'm services.
So yeah, so I think,
Yeah.
maybe comforting isn't the correct word, but maybe you just find it comforting when it feels like someone's practically helping you.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of agree. How do you like to be comforted when you're down? I think you're right. You have a point. I like to be comforted, not by words of confirmation, but by actions.
Yeah.
And the things that help me in the situation. Okay, question 2. Where did the orange come from? The color or the fruit? Orange came from, okay, this may be one of your 200 IQ questions, but the thing about this day and age is that we have Google. And how was the fruit orange named orange?
I guess even in Korean, it's orangey.
In English, the color orange is named after the appearance of the ripe orange fruit. The word comes from the Old French orange, from the old term for the fruit, Pompée d'orange.
Orange.
Oh, orange. I probably butchered that, but apologies.
So we know the answer.
It came from Pompée d'orange.
Wow.
And that's it for the questions. We're going to wrap up our segment for today. Please send your questions to #HDIGH and let us know what should our next big adventure be on. You can send us your questions on our socials at Instagram and Twitter at The Dive Studios. Also, youtube.com/Dive Studios. Also, youtube.com/DivePods for our full episodes. And we also have a TikTok at The Dive Studios. Don't forget to subscribe and to review this podcast. And hopefully we will see you guys next time with AleXa. Later. Ladies and gentlemen, did you enjoy that episode?
If you did, you can always listen to the full episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
And also, do not forget to subscribe and follow this channel. Also, turn on notifications.